Yeah, so I gotta focus up right now. It snowed earlier, or I guess really early this morning into now, and it's a little bit on the slippery side. It's a little bit on the slippery side. I think the people who are freaking out about rear-wheel drive in the snow, maybe they're not from a snowy area, but definitely going a little bit slower than normal. So I'm taking my time, letting the pre kind of flow through me first, but plan for yeah, there we go. Make sure the mic is on. Plan for today is just quads only. So really, all I want is to pump my quads up as much as possible. I just need to stimulate them, get them some work, do some burning, squeezing reps. Essentially give them enough of a signal to say, all right, don't shrink. That's kind of all I need to do right now. And quads more so than any other muscle group when I'm dieting, especially this deep, like we're almost 4 weeks out from competition. I'm not gonna get much out of like trying to totally obliterate them. And if anything, it might kind of screw me, because then I'm gonna cut into my recovery from my other muscle groups, and I'm already cutting into my own recovery with all the extra cardio and the low food intake that I'm dealing with. So it's not the flashiest way to say it, but quads does get shifted down a few gears dieting down. But that's cool. They still look freaking nuts. So I'd say around 5 or 6 sets of leg extensions total, light squeezing, nothing too freaking crazy. And by the end of it, my quads should look pretty freaking wild. I'll probably throw in some sissy squats, but I don't think any pressing, no really heavy pressing or anything. We'll see. We'll see how that kind of changes. But yeah, I think, I think nothing else to say. How about we just get straight to freaking business? All right, so there's actually not a lot to really discuss here. I'm going to start on this leg extension just because it's a little heftier, but I'm not doing anything crazy. Like, especially as the starter set too, or starter set, like all I got to do is get pretty much kind of warm. Like with quads, when I'm dieting, I kind of treat the first few sets almost as warm-ups themselves. Like I'm still going heavy enough that like they're working sets, they're doing something, but I'm kind of pyramiding up just a touch. So I'm starting with 20 fucking pounds. Now, given this is a very heavy leg extension, like even just lifting this whole apparatus up with all the steel, like with no weight, this would feel like a little bit of force. But since I'm going light squeezing, yeah man, 20's cool. I don't remember the last time I used a 20-pound notch on a freaking weight stack, but I'm gonna go alternating, maybe 10 reps for a few, 5 reps for a few, and then just go from there. Really, honestly, this workout isn't necessarily like an example to follow, unless you're really deep into a diet and you're like about to do a bodybuilding show, then it might make sense. But this is kind of a little more so just Sam specific training. If you want to see a really good leg day, go back in time 6 months to the summer and watch one of those. Those ones I really stand behind in terms of their effectiveness. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whew. All right. Let's go crazy and do 30 for the next one. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's do a double leg set now. Same machine. Oh, one more of those. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Gosh. Okay. Okay. Let's switch to the other leg extension. Come on. There we go. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I'll have it for the next one. No. Okay, I think one more of those, and that'll be it. All right. Yeah. Poof. Yeah. Poof. Yeah. Poof. Yeah. Oh. Poof. Puh. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yeah. Let's see how quads are looking. All freaking done. All right, so I'm cheating a little bit because I already got a glimpse because I wanted to make sure I was in focus and the light was solid. But let's see how quads are freaking looking. And I am feeling veiny for being so flat. Like, even just, not even flexing. Like, no flex, no anything. Just looking down at my quads. Like, I feel like I'm looking at a fucking show horse. If you've ever seen one. They're just like fucking walking around like a goddamn anatomy sculpture. But you tell me, what is this looking like? Is that a pair of freaking legs or what? Actually, this might be my craziest standing shot for quads ever. Which I know I basically say that shit all the time, but I don't think it's an exaggeration in this context. Oh my goodness. Yeah, very nice. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely a little bit of quad striations. Nothing insane, but for me to have any is crazy because I never have before. So shit. I mean, fuck, man. I'm leaner than from my last show, and I still got a month. So I'm not going to get a month of hardcore dieting, getting leaner every day. I'm still easing into it slowly. Like, I'm not going to dig for a little bit. I'm kind of just camping out at my current leanness, staying here, eating just a little bit more food over the last few weeks. But, I mean, this is insane. Like, for me to just do 1 week of like maybe 2,400 calories, in maybe like a week's time or so, I mean, shit, I'm going to be right where I want to be. I mean, crap, even just doing this little standing, whatever sort of pose is crazy. Yeah. My calves are cut up to hell. Like, I feel like I gotta grab a Band-Aid. I'm gonna freaking cut myself just looking at these. Hamstrings. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's some fucking grain, man. Oh my gosh. I knew I had planned this prep out better than my last one, but I didn't know it was going to execute so much better. I mean, I didn't even want to stop freaking posing. I just want to keep hitting all sorts of like random shots I haven't seen before. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, the big ass, I don't know what vein or artery this is, but this one is major. That's for sure. And then calves, looks like a freaking Picasso with all that crap going on down there. And man, this is sweet. All right, one more breath hold flex just to get some veins out, and then we can go get some cardio done at the at Planet Fitness. Yeah. Oh All right. I'm going to review the tape. I'll see you in the car. Holy shit. There we go. All right, I've got a question. Is this too zoomed in? What do you think? Is this too close? The Camry was a little narrower in this kind of like drive bay area, so I had to use a slightly wider lens. But since the windshield's wider, I can use a tighter one that's a little fancier. You tell me. Is this is this a good look, or is this kind of a crazy look? But either way, I did up my game a little bit, went a little wild. Did an hour on the treadmill instead of 45 minutes, which I'm not going to do 2 hours a day going forward. But every so often, I think I might up, or over the next few weeks, I might up my 45-minute session to, even just going from 45 to 50, that's still a little bit more. That's still just a little bit more cardio, a few more calories burned, overall adding to my energy expenditure out. So, what does that mean? A little bit more body fat burning, potentially a little more leeway. Even though I'm tracking all my food very specifically, there is always this sort of like eat, workout, cardio, weigh yourself in the morning, repeat. And then you have to make sure that you're weighing yourself in the morning and that weight is changing in the way that you actually want to see. Because for one, there's factors outside of your control. Not totally outside, you're kind of accepting it. But a lot of nutrition labels on foods are sometimes off. They can food like companies that are making stuff, they have a little bit of variability. Let's say maybe you're, dude, I'm eating some Cheez-Its. I'm at the grocery store or I'm at the gas station. I'm going to grab a single serving little pack of Cheez-Its. 35 grams of carbs, 10 of fat or something. What if it's really like 50 grams of carbs or 12 grams of fat, and there's like a little bit of extra, Cheez-Its in there, and you just happen to get a little bit of a heavy bag, right? That's a little bit of variability. So even though I might look at every nutrition label and weigh my stuff and track it, there's always a little fluctuation. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think the hardest part about dieting for most people is not even the doing it per se, because or the how to do it. Like, we all get the gist. We all know if you've got a fat, like, let's just put it simply, if you've got a fat dog, you've been feeding him too much. You need to feed him less food. Everyone knows this. That's not the secret. But what's tricky is it takes a while, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. It's so much easier and, like, in your brain, fun to just eat a bag of Skittles or grab like some Ben and Jerry's than it is to tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna control myself. I'm not gonna eat this treat, which is gonna make me feel really good in the moment. I'm not gonna eat it because I want, this goal. I want to look a certain way, and if you don't have a good connection of like how that actually works, well, shit. It's like a kid who somehow has an apps, or somehow got his parents' Apple ID, and he's buying a bunch of like V-Bucks. He doesn't understand what he's doing because he doesn't make that connection, So that's kind of a silly analogy. But what I'm trying to say is, I know how important it is for me to stick to my calorie goals, at least basically daily, for weeks on end. I can have a little fluctuation of like a refeed here and there, but I know if I go off plan 4 days in a row, I'm off plan. I'm full of carbs. I'm no longer burning body fat. It's like, what the hell am I doing? And from having done it so many times, I've bulked up and cut down. Never to this degree, which is really good. Like, this is new territory for me. But I've done it so much, I just have that connection, right? Like, I know, okay, I've already had 700 calories today. I've got however many left. I better eat a small meal and portion it out well for the rest of the day, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to stick to my calorie goals and then reach my body fat loss goals. But since I have that like brain or that neural connection of like, okay, if I do this, this will happen. If I stick to my calories, I will get leaner and I will get the results that I want. And I really do want them. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this whole process. If you don't have that connection yet, well, then all your brain really knows is, I'm hungry, I can't eat what I want. Actually, that's pretty much it. All your brain knows is, I'm hungry and I can't eat what I want. And I don't even know if this is working because I've never done it before. So I definitely understand the difficulty, you know? So that's the hardest part, is making that connection of like, shit, this calorie counting stuff does work. Yeah, and that's all I ever hear. Every expo, every time I run into somebody at a new gym that I haven't been to before, and you know, they show me some before and after pictures of like, dude, I lost 100 pounds last year, or I used to look at this, and then they show me a picture, and I'm like, that does not look like you at all, you know. And it's like we've got this kind of freaking, you know, psychic connection. I'm like, yeah, so you know about the calories, you know about counting the macros and doing the cardio, because there's no other way you could make those results without knowing that, without having that kind of connection. So if you can do that, it just gets easier to execute, I feel. You know what I'm saying? And it also helps if you have a quantifiable goal. Well, I don't know, maybe not. You know, I sometimes putting a deadline on things can give you a little bit of like undue anxiety about like reaching your goal and like, okay, you know, I made all this progress, but I'm not even where I wanted my goal to be. So it can be kind of tricky. But whatever kind of mindset you want to get yourself into, of like whether you want to be a full-on New Year's resolutioner, like by the end of this year I want to have achieved, you know, 50 pounds off the scale, or 10 inches off my waist, or whatever that goal is. If that's how you want to go about it, and that's like your motivator, then well, that's awesome. You know, just that's more on a personal, guy by guy basis. But making that connection definitely helps. So if it's tricky, maybe you've started counting your calories for like a couple days in a row, and then you just stopped because you're like, whatever. Like, you know, just kind of started blowing it off. Just try and really stick to it. That's all I can say. Just do it for a couple of weeks. Before you know it, you're doing it subconsciously. You can look at a bowl of food and kind of estimate the calories. You might not be 100% right, but you're way more accurate and close than somebody who just doesn't even think about it at all. And it's like anything, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Right? And the easier something is, well then shit, man, it's not going to take away from your day's effort and energy, and you're just going to catch yourself doing it like regular, you know? And the argument of like, I really don't like this, like, it's such a cope. People will say, oh, well, you know, I don't want to look at food like numbers, man. I don't want to look at food like numbers. I want to look at food because I have an emotional connection to food, and I just want to eat it to enjoy it. And it's like, yeah, you know, that's sweet, but it's not unlikely that your body fat composition is going to reflect that mindset, you know? So do whatever you want. I mean, whatever, you know? But it's like you literally are this, you know, living organism. You're basically an engine running off of, you know, carbs and proteins and fats. So I personally, I don't see the problem, right? I can still go out and get like some McDonald's and some wings and enjoy it, and I can also know how many calories I'm eating at the same time. It's I think that's just an ignorance is bliss type situation, which, you know, you can lead a lifter to the cardio bike. You can't make him pedal. You can download the macro tracker app for him. You can't make him plug in the values. It's somehow that's got to come from within. You know, for me, I've got a good connection on why I want to do it, but that's your own individual journey. But yeah, I'm excited to get back and edit this thing together. I know that my quads were looking freaking nuts, and that wasn't even that wild of a lift, you know. And it's exactly what I wanted, just a quad pump, burning, you know, decent stimulation, solid, you know, blood flow, and kind of not inflammation, but just like swollenness. And doing those sissy squats, holy crap, like it almost feels like I'm not even flexing my quads to come out of the hole of the sissy squats. It's just that they're so tense and pumped that they want to spring back, and it just turns into this like bouncing effect of getting more and more blood into them. So I'm gonna get home, edit this little thing together, and then yeah, shit, I got some chest tomorrow. So I don't know where that's gonna go down, but I do know that I'm gonna be pumped once I actually get it started. That is for freaking sure. So I've got some more cardio later tonight, and I will see you for that tomorrow.